Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
And we say good morning to the chair of the Kapiti Coast Chamber of Commerce, and that's, of course, Heather Hutchings. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, Nigel.
Now, you were out presenting your submission to the long-term plan to the council on Monday night while we were enjoying ourselves down at Vista. How did it go?
It was really great. We had a good presentation. So we had three of them. Our first one was around the rates, of course, and particularly the sort of commercial rates, and the effect that of course will have on our bricks and mortar businesses, I suppose. And how will they sort of rate all of those, like myself, who work from home? How's that going to work? Our second one was on the town centres, and I'm really strong on the town centres, and how we can work with local businesses within Paikokariki, Raumati, Paraparaumu Beach, Waikanae and Otaki, and what has to happen there. And our third one was on Manaaki Kapiti, which is our tourist arm of the Chamber of Commerce. So I guess we took up about 40 minutes plus of the councillors' time on Monday night.
Well, you won't get much response. Did they ask you many questions about your submissions?
They did. They were really great, considering that they'd been sitting there all day listening to a number of submissions, and of course it's been going on for the last 3 days. So they did ask some really relevant questions around in particular the town centres and how that would work. And also the Manaaki one, of course, the Manaaki was around saying, hey, we need our gateway down on Paraparaumu Beach and out the Kapiti Island.
Of course, the council's saying they're trying to cut down their expenses, etc., and everybody wants this, that and everything. So to move forward, have we got to spend money?
Well, I mean, we all know to make money we have to spend money, and I think, we do have to spend money, but also understand that the council, everybody wants money from the council. It's a bit like government, isn't it? Everybody wants money, and that has to come from somewhere. So it's moving forward, yes, it would be great to have that money to spend, and of course we would get our return on investment back long term, but it's always a difficult situation, I think, to be in, to try and plan for the future for 10 years out, even 20 years out. And things change so quickly in our environment.
Well, it's changing quickly around here, so it's very hard to get your head around it, Can the council cut down on their costs in any way? Has that been thought about by the Chamber?
Can they cut down their costs? That's quite a big question. I know that I understand. I don't know how true it is. I understand they've put a cap on the number of people they employ. They're looking at, for example, cutting down on the cost of the town centre and extending it out. They're planning out for another few more years, but that's no good to our businesses in the town centre. Many of them will fold if we don't do something now.
Taking the economic development plan out of the council and putting it into a separate situation, leaving it to the businesses outside to run that, would that help them out in any way? I was talking to Liz Coe on Monday about this. They got KEDA. They're pretty keen on...
Yes, KEDA.
Yeah,
yes.
Pretty keen on taking that off the council. It's still having the council there in the background, but running that side of it themselves.
So I, for me, personally believe that economic development needs to come outside of council. Still needs to work with council because council has its economic development plan, and we need to see what's going to happen. That's coming up for another 3 years, I guess at the end of June, July, I think it is. So we're interested to see where the council go with that and what's the 3-year economic development plan that they're talking about and where's that going to take us. But I believe that economic development needs to come outside of council, yes.
Yes, right. So that could be quite a blessing for the council if that was the case, but it'd have to put forward a very strong case from the Chamber and also from KEDA as to how they were going to operate it. And they apparently got some very high-powered people in this organisation already. So can you and the KEDA work together? I'm thinking of the Chamber of Commerce and KEDA. Can you be working together, or do you see sort of an opposition to each other?
No, I don't see us as opposition to each other. It's really dependent on what the KEDA are going to be working on and what the Chamber are going to be working on. And of course, we have a mandate to our members. We need to take care of our members. And so, although we're working in the same direction, we also work slightly differently. But there's no reason why things can't happen and things can work together. But as I say, the Chamber's sitting and waiting to see what happens with the Council's economic development plan coming out and what we can take out of that. Also remembering that the Chamber will also be lobbying, for example, we're waiting for the budget to come out tonight. What's the effect that that's going to have on business? So we will be also lobbying government as well. So we sort of work slightly differently to get that KEDA as well.
Yes, the government sort of indicated they want to try and help local governments. So, keep our fingers crossed. That could be a blessing because it's a huge cost that's been pushed onto councils, isn't it, by the government, the central government?
Yeah, it is a big cost. We'll be looking at things as such coming up with the minimum wage, all of those sorts of things as part of what Chamber does as well with our advocacy. So, our what we do for our members is a little bit different to just working straight within economic development within our region. We look further than that as well.
You mentioned minimum wage there. Have you had any feedback from the members of the chambers who own businesses saying this is going to be detrimental to their business, or are they quite in favour of it?
It's starting to filter through now, Nigel. I'm having the odd comments coming back, but we need to wait and see what the legislation is. But it will have an effect on businesses. If you're employing 4 or 5 people, and I agree with the minimum wage, but if you're employing 4 or 5 people, you may lose one of those people so that business can survive, so that they can pay the others the wage as well as, survive.
Yes.
Now, funnily enough, a lot of our small business owners earn less than what their employees do at the end of the day.
Oh, is that right? Just to keep the business going?
By the time they pay all the rates and all the overheads,
yes,
and they pay their employees, a lot of their investment money goes back into the business.
Right. Well, they're talking about this minimum wage going to $20 by 2020, so that's even a no-no for a lot of businesses by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it will be, and so that's what Chamber needs to be working towards as well. So as well as working within our own economic development area here on the Kapiti Coast, the Chamber looks further afield as well and working with government and the legislation. Good. And lobbying in that side of it. Sure.
Any sign of any new businesses coming to the Kapiti Coast? Have you heard about any of people wanting to come up here?
No, not that I know of. There are certainly smaller businesses coming through and talking, the start-up businesses, the people already working here or already living here, and that's really a good sign, but not any big businesses that I know of at the moment.
Right. Just looking on the social side, we got a few events for members of the Kapiti Chamber of Commerce, and you'd like to see a few more members come along. And we met several on Monday night. I think there was about 4 or 5 new members come along with their new business projections, so that was promising. So a business after 5 coming up very shortly, so you'd welcome new people to come along and check it out.
We do. Look, and so that's at Paula's. So the Business After 5 is there, she's hosting that. So certainly welcome members, and also non-members can come along to that event as well.
All right.
So they just need to go online and register on the Kapiti Coast website. Yeah. So non-members are most welcome to come along and meet and mingle with business people that are there and understand a little bit more perhaps about business, or if you're looking at starting up, come and join us.
And you got a lunch with Simon Bridges and Nathan Guy coming up too at Southwards.
That's right, that's on the 31st. So that's a bit of a roadshow, I understand, that Simon Bridges is doing.
Yes.
And of course, Nathan Guy would be supporting him. So that's at Southwards on the 31st, and once again, that's for members and non-members. So non-members are welcome to come along and listen to Nathan and Simon Bridges. So that's from 12 to 1 o'clock. Register once again on the Chamber website.
Yes, I was saying to the listeners, you get a different impression of these political people when you go along and meet them sort of face to face or hear them face to face. I always remember Bill English when he spoke at Southwards. He's a very clever man, but on television he doesn't come across as well. So
that's right.
Pay to go along.
I think that event sort of took. I was the same. I was wondering how he was going to project himself out into the audience, and he was just amazing.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's and you're right. I think it's best before we make any judgments to come and meet these people, listen to them, hear to them, watch the body language. It all helps.
And it might be something he's got to say after the budget today, which he might have to rejig.
I think you might be right. I think that's why he's coming through now.
All right. Thanks, Heather, and we'll talk to you in a month's time.
Okay, thanks, Nigel. Take care.
Heather Hutchings, Chair of the Kapiti Chamber of Commerce here on Beach FM.
106.3 Beach FM.